I'm torn. As a lot of you all will know, I am not necessarily putting out videos all that regularly here on the YouTube channel. That said, about February of last year, I started to buckle down and see if I could make more short form content. Now, I didn't do this because I wanted to be a content creator per se. It just seemed like the trend with shorts, with TikTok, with all the things were to get content in a shorter to digest fashion. I feel like you all probably recognize that too. I feel like you probably have channels that you watch here and you just kind of skim until you get to the point of the video. I mean, all we do here for the most part is run long form and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I'm a talker. I love to ramble on. And so last February, I took that as a challenge to see, can I take what I want to say about things and make it shorter? Can I make it more easily digestible? And what I found out with that is that throwing that on a platform like Instagram did, well, it did pretty good and had interaction in that platform there. But posting those to shorts to YouTube didn't really seem to get a lot of resonance. And I constantly had people asking, hey, why are you not putting out more video content? Which is interesting because I feel like I put out content almost every day. And not just some ridiculous grab content. While some of that kind of exists here and there, I do try and make things that say, these are a roundup of things that I've enjoyed over the last couple of months. These are some comparisons of some things I've enjoyed. I've tried to use language that is simpler, that is easier to digest, all of which I thought were cues from folks and what people wanted to kind of bring content this way. And this isn't a complaining video. This is just kind of me generally talking and getting your all's feedback here. Again, except for my end of the year videos, whenever I put out content, I like to try and test things out. It's actually what I'm doing right now. I'm on a new camera, I'm on a new lens, I'm on a new microphone. Everything I'm on is actually new, and I feel like every time I get a chance to do a video, I do it mainly so I can mess with different gear that I have. But I noticed a lot of folks asking for more YouTube content, more long-form content. But I didn't actually get the views that came with it. Now, I don't do promotion for any of my content for the most part. I put it out there. I don't really see a purpose in personally blasting that on channels or groups or anything like that to get more reach. I figured if it was valuable content to somebody, it would get shared. It would get passed on to somebody else. And again, I'm not complaining about any of this stuff. I do it because I have the privilege of tasting a lot of whiskey and trying to compare whiskey for you all to understand what you might think about it in translating it through whatever language I might give for the product. And there's a lot of bottles I want to dive into still this year. I feel like I'm getting kind of a backlog of that from things like the Star Hill Wheat, from the Old Fit 7-year. But what I have learned is that whenever I get to a point where I have time or want to make long-form content, I get stuck. I get to a place where I know that my video format that I like to record on, it's a little bit more square, you might notice. It's a higher video format. It takes up more space, takes up more editing time, more editing processing power, more storage on the computer, all these things. And I just like making sure or attempting to make sure it looks good at the same time of putting out valuable content. Something I like to do as a video kind of guy, as like a creator kind of guy. But there's never really any reward for doing that. And I don't mean financial reward. I mean, people don't necessarily comment on the videos. My views don't get very high. And so I'm at a crossroads. Do I continue to make content in short form, or do I go back to adding more long form content? Especially if I were to know that people don't actually want the long form. They actually don't want the ramble. They want the shorter video. But then I'm not seeing the translation over necessarily from the viewers on one platform to commenting on another platform where I have those videos, nor do I find them saying that it's been very helpful for them in the content I'm putting out. This might sound rambly on its own, but I'm really curious to hear what you all think. I truly am, because I want to know what resonates with you all and what type of content to continue to put out, because I was thankful for the challenge and proud of the challenge of being able to try and more tightly wrap up what I want to say about something in a shorter time frame. Even though I have a lot more I could say, but I don't necessarily feel like I get people who chime in on the long form nor chime in on the short form to help me figure out which of them is most helpful. I've seen the platform on Instagram grow more quickly than I have on YouTube. The YouTube has been a pretty slow growth channel for the last couple of years while I've been doing it. And that's okay. It's hard for me to do lives. It's hard for me to find time to do things like that. And I think because of that, it prevents the community sometimes from being built there, especially on this platform here on YouTube. But I guess that's kind of where I'm at. I can do the same video about the Old Fit 7, about Star Hill, about the Invictus 10 for this year, whatever. I can knock out so many more of those videos in short form content than I can in long form content. But it doesn't seem like it's satisfied the people who are looking for video content. Is it just because you want me to ramble on more and more and more? Maybe there's a few of you who do. Maybe most of you don't. But either way, I'd love to hear from you guys. While we're seeing other channels too burn out from this or that, or kind of pulling away because their focus is somewhere else, I love, like I said earlier, making content. I am tasting hundreds of whiskeys a year. I'm going through a lot of stuff, and I'm appreciative of the opportunity, but I also don't want to take that and not try and help inform other people about things that they may like. And so I want to be able to try and boil that down into a way where it would be easy to get the information to everybody. It's just not always as conducive to make these big long forms just to cut them in short form for the bits of a 17-minute video to do better than the 17-minute videos. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what your all's thoughts are about this, and we'll see what we can come back to on the channel that isn't a short, and it isn't my end of the year wrap up. Hopefully real soon. Thanks everybody for watching this video, and until next time, we'll see you all later.